This is a quick tour of my DIY wine cellar. Over the winter, this was my project. I had a room in our basement that was basically unused. It was going to be storage or something like that. There was basically there's no possibility, because it's below grade, there's no possibility for a window or anything like that. And so I had it in my mind that it wouldn't be cool with this extra space to make a wine cellar. And so I did it all on the cheap, and I'm going to kind of walk you through the process there. I really had a difficult time researching this, finding details on the right way to do this. And so I ended up doing a ton of research, and I'm going to kind of tell you, I guess I could walk you through the process. The door came from a local salvage yard. I paid $100 for it. And as we go in, you'll see that I've got LED cans in the ceiling. I have a home-built light fixture that I made from a wine bottle, and I found some instructions on how to cut the bottom off it. And I had some old light hardware from an old house that was torn down, that I kind of built that fixture, so that's really fun. Below it, I'm going to put a wine barrel to serve as a table. Haven't done that yet. So this thing is insulated to the nth degree. As you can see right here on the door, the wall is really thick, and that's because I've got R13 insulation in the walls. Plus, I put 2 inches of EPS foam over the top of it. I believe that should be about an R7. So we're looking at an R20 in the walls, and there's no thermal breaks. So that should perform really, really well. And then I did that on all 4 walls. And then I also insulated the floor. We've got in-floor heating. We've got radiant tubes poured in our concrete. So I was really concerned about the tubes in the basement heating up my wine room. That would be bad. So I actually laid 1 inch of urethane foam. It's a real dense foam you can get at a home center. It's relatively cheap. I laid 1 inch on the floor, on the concrete. And then I put 3/4 inch subfloor on top of that. And I tiled with these really big, thick tiles on top of that. And so there's just no way I could put an elephant on this floor and it wouldn't crack, it wouldn't budge. It's very, very strong. And no, I didn't need hardy backer or anything like that. There's just not going to be enough traffic on it to warrant that level of effort. So anyways, I've got 2 inches of foam everywhere on all the walls and the ceiling. I've got where I popped the holes in the foam and the drywall. I had to use extra long drywall screws. I ordered 4.5 inch ones online to basically screw the foam to the studs, and then to screw through the foam into through the drywall into the studs as well. So everything is really well built. On this back wall, I really wanted this to feel like an old wine cellar. And so I had some extra fake stone from building the outside of our house. And I've never done masonry before, but I thought I could do it based on watching the masons do the work on the outside of our house. And so the back wall, instead of drywall, I put OSB up. And then on top of that, I stapled diamond mesh. And then just on an afternoon, I got busy with my angle grinder and a diamond blade, and I stoned it. And I'm really, really happy with it. The cabinetry I built myself. It's all made of fir and birch ply, which from Home Depot, which actually blends together very, very nicely. And so I have lots and lots of fir, which I've done my whole house with, but they blend really nicely. So the trick in designing this whole thing was to get as little storage as possible, to be honest with you. I'm never going to store the 500 or 400 bottles that this thing will fit. I just have no interest in that. I don't drink enough wine. I really like the look of it. And so what I did is I've been collecting these wooden wine boxes from places like Costco and various things like that over the years. I think I probably bought maybe 4 or 5 of the boxes. I've got $20 total in that part of it. And I've just been collecting them over the years, and they fill up space really, really nicely. They're all empty, but they kind of end the look. So you'll notice I have speakers up there. Those are just cheapies that I had from an old stereo. They're wired into our whole house surround system. And so that's kind of fun. I don't have it turned on right now. But and then I do not have a climate controlled unit in here. Really wanted to see what would happen just with insulating the heck out of it, having it be below grade, and seeing what's happened. I do have wiring, and I have framing for it. Right behind here, I framed in an area specifically designed to fit the 2 most popular units on the market. should I decide to need it. I've got power back there, a plug, so it's designed to fit that should I need it. But the reality is I have hidden my little thermometer here, and even in the hottest of the summer and the coldest of the winter, even though the rest of the house is heated, it stays about 62 degrees. Very, very constant. And so I'm not going to screw with it. It's fantastic just the way it is. You'll notice so this is my volume control for the speakers. And I've got 3 light switches. The top one is the main light. It's the cans in the ceiling. So I'll turn that one off to illustrate. So next I have that one, which I can turn off. And then I'm left with my accent lights, which if I get way down here and poke up, you can see are these are just strip LED lights that I bought from Amazon, and they worked really, really well. I'm really happy with them. When I built the cabinetry, and I recognize that I say it's DIY, you either build furniture or you don't, but I'm an amateur cabinet maker, and this panel is, you'll see the screws up here. This panel unscrews. There's a big hole behind it, and I can get to my plug and my transformer for my LEDs should I ever choose to do something with them if they fail or something like that, a transformer fails, but I'm not worried about it. Eventually I'm going to build cabinet doors for this lower unit here. I didn't get around to doing it right off the bat, and I didn't want to set up the jigs and all that, so I just threw some boxes in there to fill up the space. But anyways, that's my tour. Feel free to make any comments, suggestions. I hope I've been able to give you some ideas. The cabinetry I made myself. I just made this is all fir, and it was really cheap because I typically buy it by the 1,000 feet. These are all leftovers from when I made the cabinets for the upstairs. I had 3/4 inch by 3/4 inch pieces up the wazoo. I had hundreds of them, and so I kind of trimmed them and all cut them to pieces to the right length. I made a jig to make these the upper and lower parts. I'd put these in first in the jig, then I'd put my stringers on top. You'll see some small, just really tiny nails through, and then I would take the whole thing out, flip it, and then I do the same thing on the other side. And so it was, I don't know, it took a little bit of time, but it's worked out beautifully. Anyway, I hope I've been able to give you some ideas. Good luck, and thanks for watching. Bye.